Hi, this video is going to be about first love and it is very much related to the spiritual dryness and dark night of the soul kind of video. It can be called like the third part of it or next part of it. Many times people write to me that they have left the first love, they don't feel like they are like love God, and they don't feel like enthusiastic about him anymore, and there was something special they felt and experienced when they started to believe in God, or when they realized they are saved, and then now they are like not there anymore, like something has changed, and they have an immense sense of guilt, like they've done something wrong, they don't love God that much, the way they should, and they must have allowed some sin or something enter in. That's how they are not there anymore. And I know that kind of feeling, and it doesn't have to be like a long period of time, like a few decades ago when I met God first. It's like I have an intense season of like experiencing God, and after a few days of like not sensing anything, I'm like, oh, what have I done wrong? Like why I don't love you, God, anymore the way I should, and I have all those feelings immediately, and I don't really buy into that right now. Like, there was a season in my life when I was depressed about these kind of things. Like, I sat down to spend time with God, and I didn't feel love for Him, and I didn't feel like worshiping, and I was like, oh, I've fallen out. Remember where you fell from and repent, And immediately I heard those verses with this condemning tone. I love this verse actually. But it's like, I felt like, oh, this is about me. And yeah, there was this time when I was like, every time when I sat down, I felt this lack of, I don't know, like love and experience and all that. And I started to be sad about it, like I can't do it, I don't love God, I don't know what I do wrong. And so much so that after a while I was sad about starting my time with God, because I knew I would be sad after not feeling anything. And I was going down the spiral, and after a while I had this special kind of depression that was solely based on my lack of feelings during my time with God. Which is kind of crazy, because your time with God is like the source of, joy and fulfillment, and I made it the source of my depression and sadness. It makes no sense, but it happened to me, and that's when God just told me, like, you shouldn't do this stuff, like, just stop, just enjoy life. I don't need to have your time with me if that leads you into depression. And now I have those times again, but in a different way. So I was like on and off with these kind of feelings since that time. So when I didn't experience him, I was like, oh, maybe I'm not that close, but I shouldn't condemn myself. So I was like, I had a progress with that. Every now and then I went back into condemning myself. There was a season when I was like, I wanted to have a certain experience that didn't work at all. Then I came to the conclusion that maybe I shouldn't name the experience, but I should have some kind of experience. Like maybe not shaking, but laughing. Maybe not laughing, but peace. Maybe not peace, just silence. Like, but even if I don't even have silence, what is that? Even if I can't enter the place of rest, like what if not even the basics happen, you know? I was like, I had this kind of thinking, which is kind of funny at this point, but that's what's going on in my mind, and this is can still happen to me. Like it's not like it happened long ago. um, so in the summer, I was on one of the mornings, I was laying on my bed in silence, and this was one of the mornings when I didn't feel a thing. No love for God, no specific peace. Actually, I was confused and felt like I'm far from Him. And I was like, oh Lord, here am I again. I should love you and I can't, and I'm so tired of this. And He said, what do you want? Like, you want shaking or vision or warmth or great peace or joy or just being complete rest? What do you want? No, it doesn't matter to me. Choose one. I just want something. And which of these is my presence? And I was thinking maybe all of it, or maybe at least one of them. And then Jesus said, none of these are my presence. And I was like, is it all about hyping up my emotions? Is it not real at all? I have already had so much of that kind of things. Like, were they all in vain? And then Jesus said, these are your reactions to my presence. And I really love your reactions. I enjoy them. They are from me. They are a lot of fun. They are not even close to my presence. It is so constant. It cannot be manipulated. These are your reactions. No matter how precious they are not my presence. And I was like, wow. Like it hit me. Like the first time I realized like how ridiculous my concept was. And there's this verse in John that it is not love the way you love me. The love is the way I love you. I translated it from Hungarian. So basically God just tells you there is a definition of love. The way you love is not included. It is not love. The way I love, this is love. And it's not like, oh, the way I love you is not real. It is just like there's a higher truth. Like it is like, it is real. He appreciates it. He loves it. But it is the thing that is love. It is His. And my thing is just a reaction. Like there's this never-ending stream of love flowing on me. I am a mirror, and I'm reflecting that love, and this is my reaction, and everyone is happy. I am happy for my reaction. He is happy for my reaction, but has nothing to do with the presence. And the other thing that hit me laying on that bed that morning is that I will never ever have a moment in my life when I won't have him, when I won't have this presence. Like, if it is not related to those manifestations, not even to peace or rest, then I can forever have him. Like, it can be that I will have plenty of other mornings when I don't feel anything, and it's gonna be okay, because he will still be there and he will still enjoy my company. And let me say, I'm all about like emotions and fancy experiences. I think it's a gift from God and we should enjoy that. But we shouldn't like have those experiences as expectations towards ourselves, and we shouldn't make them to be conditions of our relationship with God. Your reaction to God, including love or whatever, is not a requirement for you to be with God and to be in union with Him. It's not. And if you make it to be a condition, then you will experience it as something that hinders you from experiencing it. So if you say, just as I said about like going down the spiral of like sadness, it's the same. Like, if I believe that I don't experience God because I don't feel things, that I start to believe that I really can't experience God, that makes me feel even worse. And it's like, it's an endless spiral. And I felt like on this morning, like being taken away of this spiral. Like, even if I never ever have a single good feeling about God, nothing about us would change. And that hit me. Like, even if nothing ever happens as a manifestation in my time with God, the way we relate to each other doesn't change. And I'm all for feelings. I think they are essential. I believe that your relationship with God should look and feel like something, but not as a requirement to your experience, not as a requirement of your relationship with God. It's just a fun aspect to it that He wants you to enjoy. And it tells nothing about the consistency of the relationship. And I think the enemy is like very cruel about these memories, and he often lies about them. Like, those memories when you were super good with God, when you were so in love with Him. I remembered in the same summer, I was having this worship meeting and like praying together with friends in the park, like not an event. And back in 2016, we always had those kind of things. Like we didn't sleep, eat, or like take care of ourselves. We were just crazy about God. And I always had this nostalgic feelings about those months. Like maybe I should go back there. And I remember walking home from that event this last summer, and I was like, I have fallen out of something that I used to have in 2016. I think all of us have fallen out of this, but especially me. I'm not that much in love with God. Like there's something missing. Maybe I don't love God as much as I should anymore. And I was feeling bad about it. And then Jesus just stopped me. Like, do you remember how screwed up you were back then? Like, you were like having days of depression after every experience you had with me. You didn't know me. You had zero understanding of the gospel. You are doing way much better now. Like now you trust me, and now you know that I'm close. Now you are even able to experience me when you have terrible circumstances, when you are like refused and people treat you unfairly. You still have my joy. Like you know how to live with me. Like you even enjoy life in between great experiences. Like our relationship developed so much. Now we like live together. We share all the aspects of our lives, and I'm involved in every part of your life. Like and you know it now, and you enjoy it, and our relationship is on another level now than it was back then. But there's still something missing. And yes, there was a curious, childish excitement that you used to have back then, and you want it. Like if you want it, I can bring it back to you. Like it's not like a sign of you leaving me. You just don't have that kind of reaction. But if you want it, I can make it happen, okay? And there was a huge relief. Like I was walking home that, yeah, really nothing happened. Like actually a lot of things happened, a lot of good things. Like now I'm having much more consistency in my life. I feel much better. I'm emotionally more balanced and all that. And there was this like good feeling of excitement that I used to have. And God, I just want it back. And he said, it's precious to me as well. I like when you feel that about me. But the lack of it is not the proof of you not loving me. Or it's not the proof of us not being as close as we used to. Of course, closeness means like experiential right at this point. Like we are forever one with him. Actually, it's not a side note. This is the big deal. You are forever one with him, and your excitement and love is just a side issue. Yeah. And I remember like having this realization that I am just as close to him, even if I don't have that particular reaction to him. And I had this rest that I'm not falling out of anything. And all of a sudden, as I was looking through the windows of the bus and all that, I felt like being overwhelmed with love. Like, you know, when you have this crush experience with no reason. Like, the ugliest streets of Budapest looked like paradise. Like I was in love with all the buildings. I felt like everyone was just having their greatest days in their greatest day in their lives. I felt like, you know, everything was beautiful. And it was something I used to feel back then in 2016. And I was like walking down the streets being in love, like pink filter and everything. And I was so happy that the moment I rested in the fact that my lack of like feeling doesn't prove anything, the feeling came and I felt like I was crazy in love. And it was so kind of God, like, you know, the truth is that we are not far. Let me show you. um, yeah. So I think this is where like spiritual dryness and the previous video relates to like this first love thing. It's that there are seasons when we don't feel God, or there are like mornings when I just wake up and don't feel God, and it doesn't change a thing. Um, Only in our heads. Like there is always a higher truth, and we should cling to it. Like we are forever one with Him. Just be still and know. Just know it. Okay, if you don't feel it, it's okay by me. Just know it. And your feelings do matter. They are important. God wants to give you manifestations and crazy things. They are just simply not the requirements to be met, and not the conditions to your relationship with God. And not even the signs of whether you are close enough. And if it bothers you that you don't like feel something, it's okay. Like if you were like crazy in love with God and you don't have it, it's okay if you want it back. It's okay to desire it. Like surely God does enjoy it when you love on Him, okay? Like He loves it when you receive His love and light and it gets reflected on you. He does enjoy that kind of thing, and it's good if you long for it. Just make sure that your longing for it is not a sad and depressing thing, like, oh, I'm not okay, I'm not close enough. Your expectation should be like that of a child, like it could happen, it will happen, and I'm so excited. And just don't name when and how and what. Just be open to whatever way God wants you to, like, give you the little reflection that you are longing for. And it is only a reflection, and you need to remember that. It's nothing more. There were times when I had like very intense experiences, like shaking and laughing and visions and all that. And when they were going on for a long time, it was a relief when they stopped. And then I was like really sad, like, is it like it is enough for me from God? Like it is the best thing ever and I'm still okay without it? Like I'm still like feel relieved when it's over? It is the best thing ever, and why am I happy that it's over? And on that summer morning when I had this realization, reaction doesn't equal presence, it just clicked. It's like my body reactions to this overwhelming thing. My emotions reacts to this endless love. And I don't have to sustain any of those things. And my body is not created for these extreme things. And that's why it feels relieved when it's over. Because it's not like God wants me to be shaking all the time, like I couldn't do my life. He wants to give this special thing so that we have fun with it. And it's not like I'm closer to him when I do those things. I had this concept that if I will be like very close with God, one day I will be shaking and laughing and falling into trance and seeing a vision and all that at the same time. And this is going to be never ending, and this is gonna be my life. And I think this is gonna be fun. And then when I had like a few days when I had that like intense experiences, I was like, oh, this is tiring. Like it just wears me out. And then I felt bad about it. Like, oh, am I just saying that you are tiring? Like, and now I realize like, no, my reaction to him is a temporary thing, and it is not even meant to be permanent. Like it's just a thing. It's just a wave on the ocean. Like it returns back to the ocean. Yeah. And I had this concept that I should like sustain the presence. And if I don't feel anything, maybe I have done something wrong. Maybe I opened the door to the enemy. I've made a sin or something. I tried to find out what am I doing wrong. And it's not the best thing to do. And there was a time when I had like an amazing day and I fall asleep like completely like stressed out. And all that happened was that I was sleeping for a few hours, and when I woke up, I felt like completely separated from God. Not feeling like I want to flee from him, I don't want to spend time with him, I don't love him. Like that's how I woke up. And what have I done? I've done nothing. And that's when it hit me, like it's not up to me. Like I can't make it happen. I can't make my reactions happen. And then we ask it, like, is it God who like steps back? Oh, of course it's not. Then it must be me who does something wrong. And God says, no, not even that. Like, and Jesus said to me, like, it's like, you are so complex, like emotionally and physically and spiritually and in every way. And those things in you are so intertwined with each other. If I try to explain it to you, that would be a good part of eternity. Just trust me that it is not up to me, and it's not up to you. It's something that your setup, your upbringing, the quality of your sleep, whatever, makes you to react. And it has nothing to do with the presence, nothing to do with our relationship, and it is also nothing to do how much you love me. I know you love me. I know you love me way much more than you know you love me. And you've done nothing wrong. We are just the same. We are actually closer than back then. We are actually closer than your dream version of our relationship. Like everything is perfect between us and nothing can change it. I promised I will be forever with you, and it is not subject to your reactions to it. Yeah. So if you have like decades of like not feeling anything, I don't know what to react to that. I haven't experienced that kind of thing. But what I think is that if you are turned to him, if you have time with him, if you pay attention to him, like his light and his love is gonna hit the mirror that is you, and it's gonna be reflected sooner or later in some way or another. Like I think it is a natural process of like, if you are turned to him, you will reflect him. But if you are turned to your feelings and your lack of feelings, this is gonna be the thing that you reflect. Like, oh, I don't feel anything. What about my feelings? Is there something wrong with me? Have I fallen out of first love? If you are turned to that, you are not turning to him. You are turned to yourself and to your feeling. And don't be surprised that you start to reflect your own feelings, not the love of God. So if you are in a season of like not feeling love or not feeling certain things, it's okay to desire it, and it's good to desire it with this childish kind of excitement, but don't trust your reactions. Don't make it a condition or a requirement, and just be still and know that he's God. And even the mystics said that the dark night of the soul is the night of faith. So it's the time when you can experience that you only know that nothing can separate you from him. You only know that you are forever one with him because of the cross. And it's special. Like now I treat it as something special. Like it's special, like to have all the shiny experiences and oh, I know that he's here and near and in me. But when you only know it because nothing said, none of your feelings or reactions say it, it's like, oh, it is still real even if I don't feel it. And this is powerful. Like there is something special about only knowing it. I don't say God doesn't want you to feel things and you should be a numb and lame like object. And oh, I don't feel anything, I shouldn't. It's a spiritual reality. My soul and emotions are not related. They are related and should be related. It's like all I'm saying is that this topic is not to be approached from the side of your reactions and emotions, but from the side of the love, not your love, the love that is streaming down in you. And when you are turned towards it, if you like spend time just knowing it and giving attention to it, it is gonna cause some reflections, and it is going to cause some love appear in you and on your mirror. This is the love, yours is not. But if you want to have yours, like just stay turned towards the love. And maybe there are sometimes days or weeks or months when you just know, and this is powerful to just know. Be still and know that I'm God. Like this is quite simple, like just know it. Even if I calm the sands of the sea, I will be with you. David says, like, even if you have some crazy time experiencing something very different, you will be still with him. And it's crazy because it's like complete opposites. Like, as I said in the manifestations video, I believe that the presence of God should look like something. You should feel things. It's like all about like this extravagant like ecstasy and all kinds of things that happen to you in the presence of God. And at the same time, they mean nothing comparing to the love to the enjoyment himself, like, it is important, but it's very secondary. It's important as an aspect to the presence, but it is not a presence, and you can have a presence without it. Like, you can have the presence of God in your union, and you can rest in it, even if your emotions never change. They will. If you rest in this truth, they will, sooner or later. But even if it doesn't happen, you don't miss out on his company. So just be still and know you are so, so loved. And when you stop equating your reactions to God's love with God's love, your experience of God will be so easy and so effortless. Like, I don't feel anything. I'm still close to him. I feel a lot of things. It doesn't really matter. I'm close to him without it. Even in a real, like in an actual romantic relationship, it's like if one of the parties think that the other one should react a certain way all the time, it's like not healthy. And Jesus is not like that. He's our bridegroom, and he's not like, you should feel this and that all the time if you love me. He's not like that. He's a real partner. And as in every relationship, there is a kind of being used to each other and feeling like you're always part of my life, so you are not that special anymore. There is that kind of process in a real romantic relationship, or in a human romantic relationship, and in the divine romantic relationship. And it's not okay to be like, okay, my shiny days are over, I'm no longer in love with him, but that's fine, I'm gonna be like neutral the rest of my life. It's not okay to say that in a earthly relationship, and it's not okay to say with your heavenly bridegroom like, oh, I don't love you and I don't care. It's good that you desire to like be overwhelmed, but this is something only he can do in you, and it's not like you don't try hard to make it happen, or you've done something wrong so that you don't experience it. It can be only the result of like turning and knowing. Yeah, that's it. How is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning on her beloved? Have a great way out. Okay, God bless you. May the heaven fall on you.